From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. So don't wait. Secure your spot today. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Peace, family. My name is Vicky Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. As you come in, be sure to come in giving us a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast. That way other folks will know that we're here. And for that, we say thank you so very much. Family, you know how I like to say I won't be long, but I will be strong. Indeed, that is the case today. I want to get right to where we need to go with this story today. Now, I need you all, first of all, as you get ready to watch this brief news clip, it's very short, but I'm going to fill in the blanks with the news article as a reference, okay? I want you to keep in mind the previous stories that I have been covering, not only over the past few years, one in particular. How many of you all remember the former Latina city council president out of LA, Miss Nuri Martinez? Remember, she, along with some of her other fellow Latino council members, were caught in a secret audio that was released that showed that they were dogging Black folks, calling us out of our names, all kind of anti-Black names they were using. But most importantly, the purpose of their meeting had to do with redistricting. It had everything to do with basically taking over areas where we were normally take over, where Black folks, I should say, not take over, but Black enclaves. And certainly they were moving in on some of the areas that we were known to have a foothold in, where they had a very strategic plan to take over these areas and to eradicate the power of Black folk. Now, I need you to keep all those things in mind when I told you all that this was something that was taking place related to higher ups in the Democrat Party, along with working with the local government in LA. Do you all understand? Now, when I tell you that the Democrats are all on board and there's another angle to this whole illegal immigration issue, I am a woman of the nations. I love people around the world. The issue that we have in the United States is illegal immigration. Now, if you're a righteous person, we don't need to be doing a bunch of disclaimers for you to understand that. If you don't understand that there's something wrong with the country and the nation welcoming and incentivizing and giving checks, housing, transportation, jobs, and contracts, medical care, and a bunch of other stuff to folks that violate the law to get here, while at the same time telling Black folks who created America that we're not going to give you one red cent in reparations. If you can't understand that, something's wrong with you. Whisper that to yourself in secret during meditation. Journal that. Something wrong with me. Okay? If you decide that you're going to go see a priest and stuff to do some kind of confessions, confess that. If you decide that you're getting ready to go see a psychologist or a psychiatrist and lay up on somebody's couch to see what your mental illness is, be sure to throw that in there. Do you understand? But I'm fair across the board. Now, with that being said, I want you to keep that in mind with this first, with this clip that you're getting ready to watch. The clip that you're getting ready to watch, and I want you to keep this beautiful sister's name in mind. Former Kentucky driver's licensing clerk is who we're going to be talking about today. a sister, a black woman by the name of Melissa Mormon. Y'all don't forget that. Family, this is out of Kentucky. How many of y'all know something more going on than the Kentucky Derby? Now, I got to say, a few years ago, as we get ready to prepare to play this clip, a few years ago, I was talking about I cannot wait to, y'all know I'm born and raised in Mississippi. I'm a Southern girl, but I live in the Wild Wild West now. But I told you I cannot wait to take my hips to Kentucky, baby, to be in a big old sundress and the biggest hat I can find anywhere. Big old hat, straw hat somewhere, baby, just out there at the Kentucky Derby. So I'm still waiting to do that. That's a dream of mine to go out there. But family, before I get there, before we deal with the Kentucky Derby, baby, we got to deal with this illegal migrant licensing scheme. Well, the sister family, she worked for the government. She was with a contractor though, but she still worked with the government, the licensing, the motor vehicle company there. And family, watch what she has to say. Watch this brief clip.
The state didn't want this out. Fraud inside Kentucky's transportation cabinet. Licenses issued without a driver's test.
It is an ongoing WDRB investigation, and tonight we hear from a whistleblower who says coworkers used her login to pull off this scheme.
The employees were being paid underneath the table.
They say sometimes
Okay, family, did you all see that first clip? Now, here you have this sister being interviewed by the local news station there, yes? Now, I want you to keep in mind that they're letting you know, the news, that there was an investigation that started in Kentucky. I think it was about April, yes? Well, this sister filled in the blanks because she came forward as a whistleblower, yes? Well, she came forward as a whistleblower because she was being trained in the driver's license motor vehicle there to become a supervisor, yes, to move up higher in management. Well, they came to her with this scheme. I want us to go ahead and play the next video, the next brief clip. I know it's real short, family, but I'm going to fill in the blanks. It's for obvious reasons we keep it short. But I'm going to fill in the blanks here with the news article here in just a moment. So watch this next clip, and then I'm going to connect some dots.
My computer was shut down. I was told to go to the front door. Detectives came in. They interviewed me. That was it.
Mormon says she was fired 3 months after she sent this letter to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, blowing the whistle that workers at the NIA Center licensing branch were selling driver's licenses under the table to people who never took the driver's test.
Undocumented workers.
How did it work? What was going on?
Okay, family. So they're selling driver's license only to illegal migrants. Now, I watched the entire interview segment there, and y'all, she broke down that this was only for illegal migrants, nothing and for nobody else. Now, let's get into some of the details of that. I had to have you see this, a little bit of that for yourself. Now, can we pull up the article, team? I want the team to pull up the article because I want you all to see some of the details of this, and I'm going to connect some dots here in just a moment. Like I said, I won't be long, but I will be strong, baby. Now, I want you all to say to yourself, because y'all ask me this all the time. Anytime I do a story like this, you all say, Vicky, why isn't mainstream media dominating the headlines with this? You know the reason. When it works against their interests, they're not going to dominate the news. They're just going to bury it somewhere. They're going to let some little one-off news station do it. They're going to let some little local print company do it, print publication do it. And that's it, because they don't want this to dominate the headlines. That's why it's important that you support alternative Black media platforms just like this. And y'all don't forget to download African Diaspora News app, yes? So we're not only on YouTube, and we have other interrelated affiliate channels, but we want you to download that app, yes? Talk Black to me, somebody. Now let's read through this. This article, by the way, this article was just updated a couple of days ago, and I'm trying to tell you, it's very few people that's covering this from News Nation. Now, I'm focusing on this article, family, because this is where the details are. There's very few of the mainstream print publications that's covering it. Headline, Kentucky driver's license fraud scheme targeted migrants ex-clerk. Now, former Kentucky driver's licensing clerk says she was fired after reporting a scheme in which employees sold fraudulent driver's licenses to immigrants for $200 each, according to a whistleblower lawsuit. Now, the lawsuit is attached to this article, so it's something that you can easily pull up and verify. Melissa Mormon worked at Louisville's NIA Center licensing branch through Quantum Solutions, a staffing contractor. She claims the illegal operation occurred 4 to 5 times a day for at least 2 years across multiple state branches. I am not about to skip through that fast. Notice what it said. That involved what, family? Multiple state branches. This is a big deal. Melissa Mormon worked. Yes, I just read that. The employees were being paid under the table. That's a quote from her. I immediately let my supervisor know. The scheme involved using fake documents. I hope y'all listening. The scheme involved using fake documents, including social security cards and birth certificates, to issue licenses to immigrants illegally living in the U.S. who never took the required test. Now, I know this is not in the article. I'm fixing to say this parenthetically. Now, I no disrespect. Have y'all ever been in an Uber car with some of these migrants? No disrespect. I love y'all. And they were slamming on the brakes and just driving like they was driving a Tonka toy truck. And you wondered, how did they pass the test? This make me wonder, did they take the test? Because there's no way they gave you no license slamming the brakes like this and switching lanes and stop. Watch this. Employees bypass, I hope y'all listening. Employees bypass federal homeland security background checks. Somebody say this is serious. By processing transactions under other workers' computer logins. See, I didn't get to show you the whole thing, the whole clip there, that segment with the sister, Miss Melissa Mormon, but that's what she talked about. She said that her bosses demanded that she share her password. She began to get concerned because she said she started getting notices saying that it was asking for this and asking for that, and that's when she knew something shady was going on. Then she said some of her workers propositioned her with a business opportunity to get cash under the counter, under the desk, at least she said up to 5 times a day with these illegals. And they weren't taking the test. And notice how the article says what? They were bypassing what? They were using what? Fake documents, including social security and birth certificates, to issue the licenses to the immigrants illegally living in the U.S. who never took the required test. So not only are we dealing with fake documents, family, according to the lawsuit and this whistleblower, according to the whistleblower and according to the lawsuit, it involved fake social security documents, fake birth certificates. What government departments does all that involve too, family? Watch this. They weren't even taking the test with the fake stuff. That's what's extra dangerous. The documents was fake, and the people they got on the road. The people that got on the road, they didn't even let them take the test. The test. They don't be taking the test. The test. They skipped the test. How many of y'all know your car can be a weapon? I read this part again, but I'm gonna read it again because I'm smashing the gas on this. Employees bypass federal homeland security background checks by processing transaction under other workers' computer logins. In October 2024, Mormon and her supervisor wrote to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet reporting the fraud. So the sister did what she was supposed to do. She did it with her supervisor. Y'all listen. 2 workers she identified were fired late in 2024. So they knew it was something to it because they got rid of some of the employees that she blew the whistle on. After speaking with a detective in January 2025, somebody said that was this year. Somebody said that was a few months ago. That's my birthday month. My birthday, January 2nd, when I turned 46. Look at this. The same month. After speaking with the detective in January 2025, Mormon was terminated the same day. WDRB reported. Thousands of drivers have licenses revoked. Y'all look at this. The state with their little shady behinds. The state has revoked nearly 2,000 driver's licenses amid the fraud investigation. Governor Andy Beshear confirmed Wednesday that 1,985 licenses were canceled after credential reviews revealed they were issued to migrants without proper documentation. Kentucky law requires non-U.S. citizens to provide legal presence documentation and residency proof for standard licenses. The state verifies applicant status through federal systems. I did not prepare the team for this, so team, if you can't do this, I understand, but let me know. Can we replay the last clip one more time, please? I'm going somewhere. Remember, the last quote I just read for you had to do with who? The governor. Now, if we can play that last little few second clip one more time, that last clip of the news interview, that was from April. Remember, the news, the local news there said that when they first interviewed the governor, they said that they left this part out, but they said they wondering if it's relevant now since this whistleblower, Sister Melissa Mormon, came forward. This has to do with who I said? The governor. Can we play that clip one more time, please, team?
Is on it. There are serious concerns, and we'll hold anybody accountable if they violated the law.
That's basically all Governor Andy Beshear would say as we pressed on this case in April. But there was a part of our interview that didn't make our prior report, and it may be important now.
Is there an immigration component to this?
Not that I'm aware of.
WDRB is fighting in court for the paper trail to be made public, uncovering who knew what and when. Sometimes the truth does hurt.
I was hurt and depressed.
But Melissa Mormon believes
I really would like to get my job back.
it will set her free.
Wow. 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 Vicki, what are you doing? This was months ago when they specifically asked the governor, was there a migrant, an immigration element connected to this? I don't know about y'all, but it sounds like he might have lied right there. Mr. Governor, that doesn't look right. Because the sister, the whistleblower, in this lawsuit, and even based on clearly the investigation that the news was already doing on this, because remember, they started this in April. They didn't get as much traction like they got now until who came forward? The black woman, Miss Melissa Mormon, the whistleblower, came forward, and they said filled in the blanks for them. Talk black to me, somebody. Our sister told us it only involved, she said, the scheme, illegal migrants. And the governor was asked about it. Let me tell y'all something. The way he even responded looks suspect. Now, Vicki, why aren't you just coming out calling him all kinds of lies and stuff like that? Y'all know we're going to cross our T's and dot our I's. So I'm saying that it appears that he is lying and is not telling the truth based on what's happening. But what makes it even more suspect is the fact that the news company, and we go back here to the article, the news, they requested, I think it was up to 2,300 documents. I need to find it in this news article because when I was doing my research in other places, I believe, yes, it does say it here too. If you scroll down at the end of the article, it says not the end, but close. Yeah, close to the end. The Transportation Cabinet sent, y'all listening? The Transportation Cabinet sent 1,546 letters warning license holders of, quote, irregularities. Now, that's how you know they covering up. No, it was a scheme. You lied, and you was a part of it. See, the state allegedly, apparently, ostensibly, might know that they know they're complicit. So instead of them just saying the word fraud, they said it was some irregularities. No, the irregularity is that you didn't expect to get a regular folk treatment by getting busted. So the irregular is irregular because you thought you wasn't regular to be held accountable. So they say it's irregularities, watch this, and threatening criminal charges if the licenses weren't returned. No, if it's irregularities, you won't be doing threatening criminal charges like that. You threatening criminal charges because you know they was criminals. It's likely you knew they were criminals. That's why you was threatening criminal charges. Don't nobody send letters to somebody that's innocent threatening charges, criminal charges, for something that was a mistake. Knowingly, you understand? That's not the first thing you do in a letter. Watch this. To people that's innocent, you understand? This is where I was going. The agency has withheld, y'all listening? 2,300 records. Talking about citing ongoing investigations with the Kentucky State Police and the U.S. Attorney's Office. Do y'all see all those different government agencies that's involved? That's why I kept emphasizing Homeland Security. That's why I kept emphasizing that it involved what? Fake Social Security cards, according to the whistleblower and the lawsuit. Fake birth certificates. Are y'all listening? Just fakeness all over, through and through fakeness, allegedly. But they denied, the agency denied all 2,300 records. Now, family, y'all know full well that we understand, okay, if there's an investigation going on, you don't want that stuff out there yet while the ongoing investigation. Family, and other times you understand, it ain't got nothing to do with that. They can redact certain things. They can say, we got to hold off on this until this, that, and the third. But in the meantime, we can provide you with this basic information that won't put this at risk. It's shady. Now, the other thing I did get a chance to show you all the details of, because like I said, I know we kept it real short, it was on a few seconds, but a part of the coverage on this said that they were headed back to court. The news was headed back to court with the government to before the judge to see why they withheld all 2,300 documents. So it's clearly something up with that, because they have a pending court date just based on why they withheld every single one of the documents basically that they requested. Do you understand? Now, Bashir, as this article says, you all saw the end of the clip. That's why I wanted to emphasize the last few seconds of that interview. But the article says it here too. What does it say? Bashir, that's the governor, said he wasn't, quote, aware of immigration connections to the fraud investigation when asked in April. Y'all, it says, despite Mormons, that's the Black woman whistleblower, October letter and repeated media inquiries. Mr. Governor, that's not looking too good. It's looking like you lied, because the sister sent her letter October. That's the reason why y'all fired 2 of the employees. Y'all remember me telling you that, right? Shortly after that, 2 of them was let go. How did you telling me that the governor was briefed that there was a fraud thing going on, and it only involves illegal migrants? But he's somebody he at the time, April, before they busted him, and before he was aware apparently of the whistleblower being fired and going public like she did. She had to. He wasn't aware. Sir, it only involved illegal people. There was no regular people wasn't involved. Citizens, people with actual legal status, residency in the United States, even if they weren't citizens. How many of y'all know there are people that's got legal residency here, even though they may not be a citizen? That's legal. That's fine. Sir, it didn't involve none of them. It didn't involve the people. It involved the illegal people. Family, why am I emphasizing this? I need y'all to look at me real, real good. I promise you I'll brush my teeth. Come close to the screen real quick. Everybody be sure to hit that thumbs up button, share the broadcast. Yes, sometimes the notifications don't go out. So when you share, when you engage, it makes it more likely that other folks will know that we're here. Listen, what I need y'all to understand is this. I'm emphasizing that, and I started the broadcast off by talking about other issues where other communities that relate to other people groups, including migrants, undermined Black folk. And it was being pushed by the Democrat Party. Democrat operatives, parties, and politicians. I'm showing you this governor, Bashir, Andy Bashir, is a Democrat governor. The former Kentucky governor, Steve Bashir, that was his daddy. The current governor, known as Andy Bashir, but his name is Andrew Graham Bashir. He was the 63rd governor of Kentucky. He's still incumbent. He's still in office now. He's been there, my understanding, since 2019. But before that, y'all, he served from 2016 to 2019 as the 50th Attorney General of Kentucky. I said, y'all, before that, he served as, what did I say? The Attorney General. This is the top legal and law enforcement person for the state. You telling me that a man that has that background as the top legal cop and attorney general, I'm not gonna say cop, but attorney general, which means the top legal, supposed to be the legal top. They call you an attorney general because you're supposed to be the attorney, the general attorney for the masses for that state. Do you all understand that's why they call them that? So you telling me as the top attorney for the general public of Kentucky, you want us to believe, sir, that you didn't know that this scheme only involved, according to the whistleblower and according to the lawsuit, illegal migrants? Let me tell y'all something. The reason why I keep reminding you that Chuck Schumer, long-term, multiple decades serving Democrat senator out of New York, stated on camera. How many of y'all saw that broadcast that I did here back to back, multiple times, couple times here on African Diaspora News Channel, reminding you what he said 2-3 years ago? He said, we want to make all the illegal migrants here. He said 11 million. He said, or however many it is. He said, because there's a certain group of people, he talking about his people, population of people that ain't having babies no more, white folks. Their numbers is low, real low, organically low. Like black folks ain't doing nothing. We ain't pulling out weapons to stop y'all. Your numbers by itself is low. It's low, real low. And both sides is what I'm trying to show you, both Republican and Democrat freaking out. They both racist elements to them. Chuck Schumer said that because their people aren't producing babies and stuff, we need to make the illegals legal. And for jobs and stuff too. How many of y'all know another Democrat senator? I'm not going to stop reminding you because I got to keep connecting the dots. Dick Durbin out of Chicago. How many of y'all know it's a huge issue with illegal immigration out of Chicago? Well, one of their senators, Dick Durbin, who I keep reminding y'all of, I showed y'all the footage here on the African Diaspora News Channel. What did he say on the floor in Congress? What did he say? Not in some little secret smoke-filled room. What did he say on the floor of Congress? He talked about how the military quotas are low and that we need to make the illegals the soldiers and then give them citizenship. Do you all see how there are multiple agendas that both the Republicans, that the illegal migrants serve for both the Republican Party and the Democrat Party? From babies to soldiers. That's further proof of my other live broadcast that I did here last week, or the week before, whatever that was. Y'all check them out, where I was talking about Trump's little dirty little plan for DC and that takeover. Is this really truly about a civil war? And is he really attacking Black Americans? Why? Because they are targeting Black men related to shaving bumps. Meanwhile, the government is having the United States is having a hard time even keeping soldiers. So they should be doing everything that they can to keep them in a position to where that disease don't jump off on nobody else when there's basic distance and basic cleanliness and hygiene. But yet they're sitting here trying to make migrants the new soldiers. Are y'all listening? And then I told you all with that former City Council President, Nura Martinez, when she was calling Camry dog and Black folks, as well as her other Latino colleagues, to take over in a redistricting meeting, I need y'all to understand who came out to distance himself from her. None other than the White House, y'all. The former press secretary of the United States, who had me blocked on her personal accounts all while she was Joe Biden's press secretary, Kareem Jean-Pierre. She came out and spoke on behalf of Joe Biden, specifically related to the Latina Martinez that was called on audio. Why do you all think that they would get involved in something that's local and that was being played out in LA like that? Based on information and belief in all my coverage, that's why you need to go back so that you'll understand and connect the dots. The Democrats know this is going on as a part of the scheme to undermine Black folks. And most importantly, how many of y'all know I gave y'all the receipts? Not only through the footage of the great Dr. Claude Anderson in lectures, but didn't I quote Dr. Claude Anderson's books to tell you, because he used to work for the government. He used to work under the Jimmy Carter administration. He gave us the warning a long time ago that it was the plan of the U.S. government officials, the Latino congressional folks and all that, to intentionally take over Black folks' position. So this was planned. This was socially engineered and involves the highest folk in office. And my question to you as I end now is what you gonna do about it. We need to not only call this out, we need to keep our foot on the gas, and we need to make sure that Donald Trump, the Democrat Party, the Republican Party, and everybody else, from local government officials, just like here, to state and otherwise, not only should we demand they be held accountable, but we should also continue to demand tangibles, immediate tangibles. And one of the things I told you that they could do immediately while they're working out other areas for us to get reparations is giving us $250,000, $300,000 in write-offs from the IRS now, like they did Armenian migrants. Did y'all see my coverage on that? But the government gives them $100-some thousand in IRS write-offs for a war that happened over there in Armenia with them and the Turks. So because they couldn't get reparations money from the United States, like what are they fighting for over here for reparations? But we found a sneaky way to let them get write-offs, real money, real kickback from the IRS. We need to be doing that now. My name is Vicky Diller, beloved. Thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you again. Be sure to tune in tonight for Brother Phil Scott's live at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can learn more about me. Subscribe to my email at vickyplanet.com. That's